All right, folks, this is our weather model discussion, the behind the scenes look at how we're putting the forecast together for the day for this Monday, October the 24th. How's it going? William Cole here in the Storm Studio. And we've had a busy weather day so far. We've had a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. In fact, we've even had one tornado warning earlier this morning. In fact, that's how we kicked off the day just after 9 a.m. For parts of Jack and Montague County, northwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. No confirmed tornado up there, but again, there was a warning earlier today. So a lot going on as anticipated, and we've got more rain on the way. Now, again, this is the behind the scenes look at really the data we're looking at here in the Storm Studio. So this is not our typical TV segment, right? So if you're looking for just your normal forecast, of course, you can always find that on our mobile app and, of course, also on our Roku, Apple, and Amazon Fire TV channels live on there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is where we look at the raw data with you and this bonus content. This is typically something we put on our social media. So we're talking about Facebook, Instagram, or even on YouTube. If you see it on there, be sure to give us a like. Of course, we appreciate that. Also, let us know where you're watching from, or even let us know how much rain you've received today because most of North Texas has seen some rain, and by the time it's all said and done, all of us will have seen some rain. Of course, we need it. The drought criteria continues to build, but there will be a little bit of improvement after we're done with today. And by the way, we've got more rain on the way this upcoming Thursday and a Friday. But let's go and dive into it. Let's see what we got going on here. And first of all, we'll use the radar, right? So typically in this segment, we use just a lot of the raw data. For this, I want to go and use our radar. And again, this is as of, what time is it right now? 2:39. So this is radar as of 2:39. So if you're watching it later, obviously it will not be up to date for you. But again, you can see we've still got this fairly decent little area of rain moving through North Texas. Of course, we had the line of storms that came through earlier. If you watched our model discussion yesterday, we said, one of the things I said, watch for a little skinny line of storms. It's always indicative of fall weather, right? You get these very skinny little lines. That's exactly what we had, was a little skinny line. But for a while, it really tried to firm up, right? As it moved out of our western counties towards the Metroplex, even though it was a skinny little line, there was some embedded rotation within it, and we had the one tornado warning, and there was growing concern for a brief few minutes that we were going to have more of an active day, right? Sometimes when you get these lines that come through, and especially when you get little bow segments developing in between them, and conditions are just right, like a big upper level storm system coming through like we have today, that you can get just these little spin up type tornadoes along the leading edge, and for a brief moment in time, it looked like, again, things may have been a little more serious than they were. But luckily, that line came on in. Again, warning for parts of the Metroplex as we went through the morning. They ended up canceling that warning. And after that, the activity basically weakened. There's been a little bit of concern as we went through the day that some of that would try and redevelop in our southeastern counties. So far, that has not been the case. The Storm Prediction Center south of our area is monitoring parts of central Texas for a possible watch box later in the day. But here in North Texas, I think for the most part, our overall severe weather threat is really beginning to wind down. We still have another a little punch, if you will, of activity coming through this evening, and it's not impossible. We have a few strong storms with that. But again, organized severe weather, I think we're beginning to ease that on down, okay? So that's kind of the thinking as we jump into this. Again, you can see the scattered showery activity around the area. Real quick here, I want to show you this as well. Because our main upper level storm system, I'm going to show you the upper air chart coming up momentarily. But even though we've had the rain coming through this morning, this is still our main upper level storm system, right? Our big area of low pressure is still back here. And so it still has to come through. So again, later today, tonight, we still have another round of rain and some thunder that's going to be coming through. Now, temperatures will be in the 60s, so the instability will be pretty limited. But again, not impossible to still get some elevated activity to come on through. So we'll watch for that. And, as we were talking about yesterday, we started off the morning. This is really just the trifecta setup. We started the morning with moisture from what was left of Rosalind, right? We had very light showers around. Then we had this piece of energy come through with at least some severe weather. And now we've got the main parent, if you will, kind of the mothership, upper level storm system coming on through, and that will give us our finale. So again, it's just been multifaceted, but the good news is so far everything essentially playing out the way we thought it would. And again, if you caught our weather model discussion yesterday evening, it really did so far play out exactly the way we anticipated. So I want to do this real quick, then we'll get on to the raw data and really kind of do our normal deal that we do here. But I just want to sample some of these rainfall totals, especially here in the Metroplex, because we've gotten a fairly decent little drink, right? And so these are just radar estimates. And I'm just going to click a bunch of these, right? So here in the Metroplex, 1/2 inch to over 1 inch. Yeah, that's pretty much what we were talking about. So that looks pretty good. Out to the west, out there in Jack County, Palo Pinto County, Parker County, there's Wise County. Again, you can see most locations are probably going to end up right around 1 inch. A few locations a little bit less, a few locations a little bit more. If you want a broad brush though, again, most locations right about 1 inch. So far, again, with still another opportunity of rain coming in. So far that right there has really looked pretty good. Let's look at temperatures real quickly here as well. Because the other part of this is that we've got a cold front coming in, right? look at our Texas Panhandle, Amarillo. Right now it's 45. It's 57 up in Oklahoma City, 50 in Wichita. So we've got some chillier air that will be coming in. And even though winds are becoming a little bit lighter out there now, the winds are going to begin to crank back up. In fact, we're anticipating wind gusts 40 to 45 miles per hour. And because of that, for tonight and early tomorrow morning, our friends at the National Weather Service, they have issued a wind advisory. So it's going to go from a little breezy like it has been the last couple days, but the winds are going to crank as we get into this evening and as we get into the overnight. So do please keep that in mind as well. Of course, if you have any kind of outdoor furniture, lawn furniture, whatever it could be, anything that would be susceptible to some 45 mile per hour gust, again, for multiple hours, you may want to go ahead and do something with that. Okay, let's go and dive into the raw data now. This is truly what we do with these segments. You can see the big upper level storm system. Again, this is our upper air chart, 500 millibar chart here. And this is looking at 18,000 feet. The big dip in the flow, right? Big upper level storm system. Again, we had a little bit of Rosalind moisture lifting up. We had another piece of energy that came off the tip of the Baja California Peninsula. That rode around this initially, again, giving us the storms earlier. And again, now we've got the main piece. I mean, really just kind of what we're calling the mothership, right? This is the finale that's coming through for later this evening and tonight. Behind it, there's not much. So as we go through the middle parts of this week, things will get quieter before we have more active weather coming in as we get into the end of the work week. Let's look at the convective outlook. We really do have to go through this pretty quick today, only for the fact we've got active weather, and I've really got to continue to kind of monitor that. So at least right now, the Storm Prediction Center still has a marginal to a slight risk. I would assume they may amend this just some. Tornado probabilities haven't adjusted at all throughout the day. It's clipping kind of like our southeastern counties, the 5% probability of maybe a tornado warning or two. I think more than likely that's going to shift further off to the south, right? That's kind of the area that they're now highlighting for severe weather. I think the overall severe weather probabilities here are easing down as that finale comes through later this evening and tonight. Can't rule out a severe storm warning or two, but again, organized severe weather is looking less and less likely. If it were to be the case, again, some small hail, some wind, that would be the primary concern, right? So that's your convective outlook there officially from the Storm Prediction Center. But what I want to do, let's just dive into the model and let's go and take a look at this here. And let me go and give you the closer zoom. And so we know about the storm system from today, right? So there it goes, it's pulling away. And just to kind of orient what I'm talking about here, again, this is the dip that I'm talking about from today. So that one's pulling away. But watch as we go forward in time. Watch as we go forward in time. Here comes our next storm system, and look at the track of that. I mean, it's a red line, center line track, almost exactly like the other one, right through North Texas. And again, this will be for late Thursday into Friday. The timing may speed up a little bit. It may be more like late Thursday into Thursday night. But again, that one comes right through North Texas. Another likely opportunity of rainstorms, maybe even some severe weather with that one as well. Okay, so that's our next rain opportunity. And then on the heels of that system, look at what we have here. We've got one more, and that'll be for the following Tuesday. So we're in a very progressive, meaning very active pattern. And then after that, you can see we've got a big storm trough diving down. And again, as that comes out of Canada, that may bring even some chillier air. So let's go and take a look at that. This is, I've looked at the morning data. This is the first chance I've actually had to look at the afternoon data, so we're truly looking at this together. So here comes our first front. Now this is the 850 millibar chart, so this is not surface temperatures. This is just off the surface. That way, again, we can get a good reading of any air mass change. This time of year, this is what you want to use, right? Because you can actually see as any types of air masses, especially to the north, colder air, get displaced and try and come down with any of these troughs, okay? So that's what we're really watching for here. And also cold fronts show up very evidently here as well. So here we go. There's the front coming through tonight. There it is. Turning cooler. High of only 69 tomorrow. We slowly rebound the temperatures by midweek. Here comes the next weather maker. Another front. That front pushes all the way down to the coastal plains. And then here comes one more weather maker towards the end of this. Yeah, the front with that one's pretty weak, but then notice towards the end of that, how I mentioned that next trough coming down. Look at that trough easing down out of Canada. And luckily, most of that, I say luckily, that is if you don't want cold air, most of that stays bottled up to our north. But you see it begins to ooze down out of the northwest, but then it kind of gets caught and stays up there to the north, right? But we definitely have colder air building, I mean, which would be typical for this time of year. That's not unusual. But again, look at this Canadian air building to the north, and look how much closer it's getting there to the northern tier. So, you know, we're just progressing through the season, and this is what you do. You just watch the progressions, and at some point in time, some of that's going to become displaced, and it's going to try and make a run down into the southern plains. Right now, it'd be a little early, honestly, for us to get a big burst of cold air yet, but obviously we're watching. You can see it happening. So let's go look at precip opportunities. We know about today. We'll take even a look at the high-res data for tonight coming up momentarily. But while we're here just on the global model, we're looking at the European data. Let me just kind of run you through this quickly because here is Thursday, right? So Thursday out in the big country, rain and storms try and develop out there. And then you basically see a line of storms come through Thursday night and early Friday. And then that activity basically pushes off. May linger on Friday a little bit. There may be some lingering rain probabilities there on Friday. Then let's look at that final system. And those come through pretty dry. Let's see, and there is a new, if you heard that alert come out, there is a new watch probability. I believe that's going to be to our south. We'll look at that here momentarily. But the Storm Prediction Center just issued a new watch probability for 40%, so it's not a guarantee, but I think that's going to be south of our coverage area. So we've got another good shot of rain coming up this late Thursday and a Friday, but after that, gang, I tell you what, it looks like those next systems may not offer much in the way of rainfall potential. Let's look at rainfall total projections here as well. We're just going to go through time. This includes today, okay, it includes today. But as we just take into account the whole 10 days, minus what we see out there today, the Euro's saying right around maybe 3 to maybe 4 inches. So say we pick up 1 to 2 today, that next weather maker could offer us another 1 to 2 inches, okay? So good rain today, good rain Thursday and a Friday, and then we begin to dry back out, okay? So we need it. I mean, if we got that, literally if we got 3 to 4 inches of rain here in the Metroplex, we would almost be caught back up with where we need to be for the year. That'd be perfect, right? It would continue to put a dent in the drought criteria as well. Okay, so from there, let's look at one more thing. Let's look at the instability for this upcoming Friday, Thursday and a Friday. And I know this one is a little out of sync. Normally we have more time to go through all this. It's just we've got so much weather going on here that I do want to do this and show you guys the behind the scenes stuff, but we really gotta rock and roll with this one today. So I apologize if it seems like I'm really racing through this. You can tell, I mean, we've just got alerts, we've got everything going on. Okay, so this is late Thursday and a Friday. We've got some instability, so we could have some strong to maybe marginally severe stuff as well. So we'll watch that again Thursday and a Friday. Let's look at the high-res data for tonight, and then we'll look at the raw numbers coming up as well. And so let's look at the simulated radar, right? So we're switching from the European model. We're now switching over to the high resolution rapid refresh, what we call the HER model, or the HRRR. You can pick your name for it. So we're just going to run you through time. There goes the morning, early afternoon stuff. This is what we're watching in the next batch. Take a look at that. And again, still develops some thunder with it, but again, you can see it pinwheel through. That's the actual area of low pressure. I'm going to come to the very latest run. The very latest run is will only go out 18 hours. It won't be for the full 48. But let's take a look at this. And it definitely still develops some thunder. I mean, take a look at that. I mean, it doesn't look overly impressive, but I think it's something we'll need to watch when we have a secondary line that pushes through our eastern counties. Okay. And they just reissued the same watch probability. So sorry that alarm keeps going off, but they just issued another watch probability for the same thing. I'm talking about the Storm Prediction Center. So again, so this evening and tonight, there will be another opportunity of rain and storms. Could be some thunder. Again, doesn't necessarily look overly concerning or overly severe, but again, could there be a severe thunderstorm warning or two, even this evening and tonight? It's not impossible, okay? And the one last thing I want to look at is I want to look at wind potential, okay? Wind potential here, and it looks like the Storm Prediction Center also may have just updated their convective outlook as well. We'll try and take a look at that if it's already posted. As you can tell, we've just got a lot going on. Like I mentioned, we're busy today. So, and like I said, if this seems a little disjointed today as well, I apologize. We're just trying to get you through it and get you on with what you need to know here. Let me do this. I want to look at one other thing. I'm trying to get this, look at the, yeah, this is what I'm trying to look at right here. Sorry about that. Let's take a look at this. This is high-res wind, and theirs is the front comes through. Oh, man, yeah. So by 5 a.m. in the morning, it's not, this evening the winds will come up 25, 30 miles per hour. By sunrise tomorrow morning, you're going to have a northwesterly wind. So as you're getting ready for your morning commute tomorrow, it was rain, it was showers this morning. Tomorrow morning, I mean, we've got wind gusts here 45 to 50 miles per hour from the northwest. The wind is going to be howling tomorrow morning. It's going to be absolutely howling. That's the latest high-res data right there, 45 to 50 mile per hour gust. And we'll take you through tomorrow afternoon. The winds stay 9 a.m. in the morning. Winds stay up to at least 30 through about noon. So, I mean, we're going to have, like I mentioned, early tomorrow morning through most of the morning tomorrow, winds will be howling, absolutely. So keep that in mind as well. Let's quickly look at the raw numbers here. So we've looked at kind of all the data. I always like to show this. Number one, this is the European. This is the actual temperatures it's spitting out. 69 for tomorrow, sounds about right. Lower to mid 70s by the middle of the week, sounds about right. And then some mid 60s behind that next weather maker, big cool down by Friday before we slowly moderate the temperatures. I'll be honest, that sounds about what I have. We'll look at the blend of models here. And let me unzoom this so you can see it. The blend of models, I mean, almost agrees, right? So the blend of models is not just the European data, it's all the models put together, weighted, and the high-res data plugged in. It's almost identical. 69 is what I have for tomorrow, mid-70s for Wednesday and Thursday, and then I've got us at 65 for Friday, and again, still in the 60s even to begin the weekend, and then as we get into the middle parts of next week, we slowly rebound into the 70s. In fact, let me just quickly show you my 12-day. And then we'll wrap this up. And like I said, I appreciate you kind of bearing with me today. Like I said, we've just had to really kind of rush this one through. But I wanted to do this, and we've just got a lot going on today. So real quick, here is my updated 12-day. There it is. You see 69 for tomorrow. Thursday and Friday, we may still have to play with those probabilities. I may have to move the greater rain probability to Thursday, right? It may be a late Thursday evening, Thursday night. We taper the rain off Friday, so we'll play with those days. You can see the 60s going into the first part of next weekend, and then we rebound to the 70s to near 80, and then here comes that next weather maker. I've still got a 20% placeholder for the following Thursday, but the latest data continues to really just show it's going to be dry. So again, we'll watch that and we'll track it carefully. So that's where we are, gang. Again, thanks for watching this weather model discussion. Again, be sure to give us a like if you're watching on social media. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments below. Leave us a comment, even let us know how much rain you got. And again, otherwise, we'll be on our channel live with more weather coverage, severe weather coverage, anything we need to do. And of course, your daily forecast is always there as well. Again, otherwise, thanks for watching, and stay dry and enjoy the rest of your Monday afternoon.